Resident Evil 4, officially announced, is coming to Sony on March the 24th, 2023, Microsoft as well as PC platforms. The original, which hit shelves in 2005, has been revamped from the series' traditional fixed perspective to an over-the-shoulder view that tracks the player's back. Taking action, it takes the elements of shooting and resource management to a new level. This had a profound impact on the Resident Evil franchise, and many others that followed. A masterpiece of survival horror and action that continues to captivate fans even after all these years. This remake retains the essence of the original and adds a modern twist to the gameplay. The storyline has been reimagined and the graphics have been updated.
If I could just forget what happened that night.
The Day Before was originally scheduled to be released on the 21st of June 2022. However, to allow for a smooth transition to the Unreal 5 engine, the official decision was made to change the release date to March the 1st, 2023, for an open-world zombie survival game. The game's story is set in a crisis-ridden America after an epidemic has infested the country, rampant with human-eating infected. Surviving humans fight for food, weapons and ammunition, even vehicles. They start killing each other. In this dystopian apocalypse, players will have to fight off the zombies with their teammates. Together with your teammates, you will defend yourself against the zombie attacks and the human race's rivalry. The Last of Us Part 1, a remake that Psychopath brought to the Summer Games Festival not long ago. The edition was officially announced as the grand finale. Released the first trailer. The game contains the Body and Left Behind DLC, will be officially released on September the 2nd this year, debuting on the PS5 platform, followed by the PC platform. The game will faithfully replicate and incorporate modern gameplay with improved controls and expanded accessibility options. In addition, players will be immersed in improved graphics, exploration and combat as they relive the moving journey of Joel and Ellie.
Hope you know how to use that thing.
I've had some practice.
The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners Ch2 VR2, whose predecessor performed as one of the best survival VR games on the PS Store, and the sequel is expected to be released this year with a story that is a direct continuation of the first entry with a new episodic campaign, new maps, new weapons and new challenges. The PS VR2 version will feature higher quality visual effects, more accurate gesture tracking and higher levels of detail.
It was I who shined as a beacon of hope for all. The tower cries out for blood, and I vow to spill it. When the bells ring, the song they sing will be righteous.
State of Decay 3, referring to the State of Decay series, is considered by many gamers to be the perfect combination of zombie apocalypse and survival simulation. If the first generation was an innovative game with second-rate graphics, the second generation was even more regrettable for gamers because of the death of one of the core members midway through the production process, which led to the incomplete game. Showa American Story. The game features a post-apocalyptic Showa America and dead and reborn girls, with both thrilling and strategic combat. The game is a new Suzaku RPG with an emphasis on fierce and direct combat. Players will face hordes of incoming enemies in fast-paced, high-speed battles, move with agility, attack, dodge, melee weapons, long-range weapons, and other weird weapons. The player is able to choose and match weapons with different capabilities, use different combat moves and attack styles, fight against distinctive enemies. Resident Evil Re verse. The multiplayer online PvP shooter Resident Evil Re verse was supposed to be released in mid-2021, but last year Capcom officially decided to delay it until 2022, and the game's familiar characters will be caught in a fight to the death. Test your skills against other players in a 6-player deathmatch battlefield. But don't forget the dreaded biological weapons. Not only must you master the hero's skills, but you must also be familiar with the combat capabilities of the biological weapons in order to emerge victorious. ParadiZe Project. Ever wanted a zombie to help out at home? What could be better than a zombie who can do the laundry? In the beautiful land of paradise, some clever survivors have experimented with a technique for controlling zombies that you can capture and hack into the zombie system. Once under your control, they become valuable allies, even if they are not so smart and a little unstable. This game offers survival, combat, multiplayer, all set in this crazy top-down open world. Urban Strife, a top-down perspective zombie-themed turn-based combat game, is produced by White Pawn Games and published by Microprose Software. When the main character awakens one day to find zombies all around you, you learn that you must try to survive in this dark world even if you are injured and have lost your memory. The game will be released in the third quarter of 2021 and does not support Chinese. No More Room in Hell 2, a hardcore zombie escape game built on the Unreal Engine, where players can experience 8-player co-op survival and survive the wave of zombies. The final version of the game will have more weapons and skins. Human NPCs will be added to the game. There will also be a crafting system and a PvP mode. Undawn, developed by Tencent's Photon Studio Group. It is an ultra-realistic open-world survival game based on Unreal Engine 4, creating a large, seamless open world full of realistic details. In this game world, players can feel the real-world clouds, rain, snow and thunder booms. Players will have to deal with a variety of natural landscapes and harsh weather, experience diverse and free interactive gameplay and a rich storyline, gather, hunt, explore, scavenge, survive and build a home together.
This is tough. The trip is so tough. The weather's getting worse.
Project Z, developed in the Unity engine, is officially inspired by survival games such as Tarkov. Days. The setting is on a secret German island in World War II. The German Nazis aim to turn the zombies found earlier on the island into weapons, thus turning the tide of the war. The missions in the game can influence each other. These effects depend on the order in which the player performs the missions, and all missions can be played repeatedly, having a time-limited survival mode. In this mode, players must fight for their lives, kill the endless waves of zombies, upgrade your weapons at the same time, try to make it through as many rounds as possible, get a higher score. IL, which has been upgraded from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5, will take full advantage of nanite and lumen technologies to create great graphics. A survival horror shooter. The anticipated aspect of the game is that it is being developed under the leadership of Oleg Vavenko, a Russian artist known for his eerie drawing style, and the game is still in the development stage. The game has a good look and feel from the graphics, and with a horror designer working on the game, I'm sure the horror atmosphere won't be too bad, but no official release date has been announced for the game. Zombie Hell Infected City is a first-person perspective survival game developed by Infected Ants and published by Games Incubator. The game is set in a zombie-infested city where you, as a father, will fight to protect your family. You will need to collect materials to set traps and upgrade your house to strengthen your defenses. The player can explore the surrounding area by car, collect fuel, ammunition, food, medicine, and more. Get help from allies to provide more protection for your family. RIPOUT, a cooperative sci-fi horror FPS that allows for multiplayer. Players will battle through procedurally generated derelict ships filled with mutants capable of reconfiguring their alien bodies. Players fight through customizable biotech weapons featuring living pet weapons, LPW, that absorb advanced technology from slain mutants, including shields, plasma, and teleportation biotech upgrades. The game will use the Unreal Engine, and from what we know so far it will be released later this year. 3D Realms has not yet announced any release date. Dead Containment is a rail shooter inspired by classic arcade games. Similar to House of the Dead and VR Warriors, players fend off undead creatures as they run through a besieged city, using a variety of weapons to blow up the walkers roaming the streets. Playable in single-player or online co-op. HumanitZ, a co-op top-down open-world survival game set in a world at the end of a zombie outbreak. As one of the few human survivors, you get to try out all the acts in the game and lead all of humanity back to where it once belonged, the top of the food chain. EBOLA 3, a bio-horror title from indie_games_studio, a small independent studio that has always attracted players with its gory scenes and detailed portrayal of monsters, features an open map with 5 city buildings and a hospital in addition to a prologue, and the team has created secret labs on the top and bottom 10 floors to explore. The game also contains many hidden interactive characters that players need to explore and discover, and now an official demo version has been uploaded, so players who are interested can try it out before considering whether to add it to their wish list. Project Outbreak, a first-person shooter single-player zombie hunter massacre. Face hordes of zombie horde. Build your own weapons and top the leaderboards. Use everything to your advantage. Do you have what it takes? The game has a simple but clean visual style, and even when running on a weak system, the game works and the frame rate is optimized to be great. There are no visual clutter or unwanted post-processing effects. Includes support for widescreen displays and uncapped frame rates. Sker Ritual, the survival horror FPS from Wales Interactive and the spiritual sequel to the award-winning British horror game made of Sker. Go it alone in the world of the Quiet Ones, or join up with up to 4 players to survive in an environment besieged by evil spirits. Drunk or Dead 2, a VR-only zombie shooter developed by indie game studio 4i Lab, allows players to choose between 2-player local or 4-player online co-op play. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic fantasy world, where a vicious zombie plague is sweeping the world and the only antidote is alcohol. And the drunker you get, the better you can protect yourself. The only antidote is alcohol, and the drunker you are, the better you can protect yourself. Shopping, chat and drink, collecting new weapons along the way and stocking up on every drop of alcohol they find in order to find life in the deadly head-to-head battles.
Go on raid and trade your loot. Or just enjoy the game.
The Callisto Protocol, the new title from the creators of the original Dead Space, will be released on the 2nd of December 2022. This is a survival horror game in which the player may feel powerless because the protagonist is not a soldier. Every enemy encounter is a battle to the death. Ammunition, life points and weapons are precious, and players must search the Black Iron Prison for all the items that can come in handy. In addition, this game uses the Unreal 5 engine to bring the horror to life and makes use of the PS5's 3D sound effects capabilities, using sound ray tracing, diffraction and sound transmission to completely immerse the player in the game world. Dead Space Remake. Motive showed us a change to the classic dismemberment system during a recent developer live session. Each weapon will have a different effect on the necromorph, and the whole zero-gravity movement system has been redone. It's similar to the system in Dead Space 2, and new environments and challenges have been added to the game. We were told this game will have substantial visual improvements, in addition to the visual effects, and the gameplay will also be improved. But at the same time, it also retains fidelity to the original game. And according to the official announcement of the game's plot, the game remains largely the same as the original. Sons of the Forest, the sequel to Knights the Forest, sees players taking on the role of Eric LeBlanc in the first game in the series, as he searches for his son after a tragic plane crash deep in a secluded forest. To add another element to this already traumatic event, the player must fight off man-eating monsters while surviving in the harsh wilderness. The enemies in the game are not bloody zombies, but something truly disturbing. This will be the game of its kind where people I feel truly vulnerable and scared.
Get down, son!
Untitled Layers of Fear game, a compilation of the first two titles, including DLC content, has been reworked using Unreal Engine 5 with a new storyline and gameplay. Expected to be released in early 2023.
Shouldn't.
An empty shell cannot live forever. It cannot live at all.
I was trapped in this house, bound by this body.
Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl, now available for pre-order on GOG. Expected to be released in 2023 and developed by GSC Game World. The game takes players to the vast and endless Chernobyl blockade, where they will go head-to-head with a vast number of dangerous mutant enemies, and explore the source of a multitude of deadly anomalies. You must choose your trajectory wisely, as each choice will determine your own fate, and ultimately define the future of humanity.
Пулю поймать.
Ну не знаю. Между аномалией и маслиной я уж лучше пулю выберу.
System Shock Remake, a new official trailer has been released which sees players exploring the space station scenario, and going head-to-head with enemies. In addition to this, it also contains a number of mechanic puzzles. The game is a complete upgrade from the original 1994 game, but the release date has not been set.
Fuse flesh and steel into perfection. My children, hacker. Their blood is on your hands. You will suffer for your transgressions. These are my avenging angels.
The Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me, the fourth and current season finale of the series. The documentary crew receives a mysterious invitation to visit a replica of serial killer H.H. Holmes' murder castle. It was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win the attention of the public. The hotel is the perfect setting for the film, but it's not what they see. The crew find themselves under surveillance and suddenly their own situation is even more precarious than the ratings.
True art. That's what you have to be. An artist. I've left my mark on the world. Have you?
Vanish is a survival horror game in single and co-op mode for 1-4 players. As a priest, you are sent to Luxford House by your local church to carry out a failed exorcism attempt. Fear, panic, and dread await you. Daymare 1994 Sandcastle, a third-person story-driven survival horror game with a critically acclaimed successor. 100 Days of Nightmare 1998. Take on the role of Special Agent Delilah Reyes, formerly a government spy, on a mission for Hades, hexanuclear rescue and search service, and enter the most well-known and mysterious place in the world. Beware of the intricate, inhospitable interior of a military research base, haunted by horrific creatures. Alan Wake 2. Creator Sam Lake says the sequel will be a survival horror game. In an interview with IGN, he said, "Horror is a psychological, layered, deep mystery. Yes, the new one will be very scary. This means that Mindhunter 2 will be even scarier and more exciting than its predecessor, as well as less suitable for some gamers who may encounter more uncomfortable content in the game than in its predecessor." Although the new game has not yet received an official rating, Remedy says it will at least be an M16+ rating, rather than the T-teen rating of its predecessor.
And monsters wear many faces.
The Chant, a single-player third-person horror action-adventure game, takes place on a quiet weekend in the midst of a soul retreat on a deserted island. A group chant opens up the Dark Realm, a horrific psychedelic realm full of people dedicated to devouring negative energy. It turns everything into a horrific journey, where you need to interact with recurring characters, make sense of the island's complex history, and witness the horrific revelations about a universe where only you can repel these creatures, persuade the survivors, and figure out everything about a 1970s cult legacy to reverse the ritual.
Isn't what we wanted.
No, it's better.
Him?
Routine, a first-person sci-fi horror game set on an abandoned moon base, is designed around a vision of the future in the 1980s. When the moon base is completely silent, exploring the unknown becomes a necessity for survival. You will come face to face with an enemy that threatens you. Go explore the unknown. Your only way out is to move forward. This game is expected to be available on Xbox and Steam, joining XGP at the same time. Fort Solis, with Roger Clark and Troy Baker, the voice actors for Arthur in Big Cousin 2 and Joel in American N2, joining in on the motion capture for this game. A third-person horror game set on Mars, it tells the story of two characters, Jacek and Jessica, who respond to a distress call on Mars, but a sandstorm soon traps them in a nightmare. It will be developed in the Unreal 5 engine and is scheduled for release on consoles and PC in 2023.
Something's going on here. And I need to find out what it is.
Greyhill Incident, which is set in the midst of an alien abduction, will see players patrolling around in the dead of night to protect the surrounding residents and help everyone escape from the clutches of the aliens. Equipped with a classic baseball bat, torch and walkie-talkie, you investigate paranormal phenomena, sneak through Greyhill's houses and barns to find tools, ammunition, and utilities to overcome the alien invasion. Try to fight, hide or escape to avoid being abducted by them. It's your duty to protect the local population. You'll meet interesting characters like your crazy brother Bob, and survive this invasion.
Everyone in the village, humans, animals, and every little insect. They'll take samples of everything, making experiments of everyone. This is an extraterrestrial investigation.
Ghost Watchers is an online cooperative horror game. You will have the opportunity to research and capture the ghosts hiding in deserted houses. Derelict houses are often inhabited by ghosts. They can be the spirits of suicidal people or demons. They can also be vampires who slowly suck the blood from everyone around them. Your task is to study the ghost before capturing it. During the hunt, everything is important: finding evidence, determining the age of the ghost, and studying its mood. Aftermath. Charlie Gray has been on top of the world. Not only is she a gifted engineer, but she is also a European astronaut who has flown off Earth many times in her career and into a universe that is out of reach for most people. But when her return to Earth goes awry, followed by a series of traumatic events that lead to insanity, Charlie's life spirals into an increasingly dark abyss, and she eventually finds herself trapped in a desolate and fragmented world. She knows only one thing, and that is to find the only thing that matters. Sammy? Choo-Choo Charles, the one called Charles, is a giant locomotive with a hideous face, a bloody mouth and spider legs. No one knows where he came from, and its only purpose is to eat you. In the game, you ride your little yellow train, which provides the map, machine gun weapons, and all decorations on the dashboard. You ride the little train from place to place, completing the citizens' quest to take pieces from the island. Over time, you can use scrap to boost the speed of the train, armor and damage, enhance weapon firepower, and meet the challenge of the mighty Charles. Frigid, set in the Canadian Arctic, where a catastrophic event plunges you into a desperate struggle for survival against nature. Climate researchers studying the pollution of Arctic glaciers have discovered some disturbing conditions in the region. Your job is to seek help in figuring out what they have found and surviving the ordeal.
And lake area accompanied by recurrences of wildlife corpses showing up at a consistent rate. Hunters and hikers have become concerned. I had my town officers conduct investigations into these incidents without cause. About a few months ago, reports have escalated into vandalism and property damage in town. One of my officers investigating this was killed. It appears an animal was involved. We have called experts in from the city, and they will be arriving shortly.
Quantum Error, in which the player takes on the role of Jacob Thomas, a firefighter originally sent simply to put out a fire at the Quantum Institute, encounters an unknown presence. He hopes to save as many people as he can, but things are far from as simple as he thought. It will be available on PS5, PS4, XSX Vertical Bar S with an unspecified release date. Mirror Forge. The game is inspired by Silent Hill as well as parallel dimensions. Players will roam between fear and crazy reality, using their wits to solve puzzles and explore the world. Officials have also revealed the game's core mechanic, traversing each other between dimensions through mirrors.
I'll find you, Joe. I'll find you.
Last visit, you play as Gabriel, a young man who visits his family every year. His grandmother, Anna, lives with her 2 brothers in a fictional village called Camby. Her cottage is located in a forest far away from people. One night Gabriel finds the house empty, and all signs point to something terrible having happened. Your task is to solve the mystery of their disappearance, and find the family.
Monsters are getting closer. We don't have much time. He can come back any minute now. Hold up.
Ad infinitum, in which the player takes on the role of a German soldier who has returned from war but is haunted by the trauma of battle and needs to fight his sanity every night, even to the point of hallucinating. To return to the trenches to fight the horrible creatures that have no name, the player has to overcome the hallucinations and emerge from the trauma, but may discover other, more terrible secrets. From the description it seems that this is not just a realistic monster-killing genre, but focuses on the spiritual world, and perhaps there will be an interplay between the real world and the spiritual world as well. Bendy and the Dark Revival, a chapter-based survival horror game produced and developed by Themley Games, is the sequel to Bendy and the Oil Printer. Once Human, NetEase's new sandbox survival game, codename EOE, announced to be titled Once Human, has a post-apocalyptic themed story background game. After the mysterious Silver Gates opened, a catastrophe befell the human world, and human civilization was destroyed in an invasion of stardust pollution and abnormal forms. For 40 years, humanity has been struggling to survive in the mud until our protagonist wakes up. We are set to be the Transcendents, who will lead humanity to reclaim its home from the monsters.